Well, Ella, well, we haven't had a roof damage in our area in quite some time. And, I have a
Mm-hmm.
brand new roof. So why would I need someone to come inspect my roof?
All right. So if I may ask, how old is your roof?
Less than probably a year old.
If it's, is it safe to say more than 6 months? Or
Uh,
let's just say it's a year old. All right. So it's better to keep an eye out and check your roof at least once a year, right? Because your area is hail prone.
well,
So, it's better to keep, if there's
well,
a leaks, a mold,
well,
cracks, and whatnot.
well, well, are these three kings inspectors? Are they American citizens or are they foreign invaders?
Yeah, no, they're Americans, sir. Actually, we're on the web. Do you have time to
Well,
check it out now?
well, are they those pro Trump mega people too?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, because I don't want nobody rolling up in here insulting me.
No, no, sir. That's not gonna happen. I'll make sure they're not gonna do it. I'll
Yeah,
make sure of that. I assure you. So,
yeah.
can we find you at home tomorrow? Is it morning?
Well, actually, I think I'm probably gonna have to let you go now. I have a date with a live show, and you're actually a participant on it right now, as a matter of fact. And I appreciate your participation.
Oh,
Say
all
hi
right.
say hi to the world out there.
All right. I will. Thank you. Have a great day, Sam.
I'm going to start calling you Samantha.
Well, a long time ago, I actually, in my uh, political wiliness, somehow or another, I got on a Democrat list, and
Imagine that.
they named me Samantha. So when
Really?
they always call and they call Samantha. Well, Ella there, she says, "Oh, Samantha, this doesn't sound like Samantha." And I'm like, "Well, what gives you that impression?"
You
Well,
should
you're
have
deep.
asked her what her pronouns were.
And I said, "Well, what makes you think I'm not a Samantha?" And she says, "Well, the sound of your voice." I said, "Oh, I can't be a woman and have a deep voice."
Yeah, maybe you're in
What
transition.
what are you trying to say? Are you one of them Trump haters or something? That's what I asked her.
That's crazy. I get, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 of those spam calls a day that just go to voicemail. Hello, everybody. The show was titled Random, and well, we're randomly discussing a spam caller.
Yeah, so there is a lot going on. Hey, guess what? I think the possibility of making the Guinness Book of World Records is possibly in the cards for a lot of us here in Bossier.
Really? How so?
Well, because maybe did you know that our infamous walk on water congressman is in contention to be the freaking speaker of the house, the third in government?
Well, I have tried to avoid watching that, but you've kind of been giving me the play by play. So update us and all. What do we got? 40 something, 50 something people watching now. Hello, everybody. But give
Well, I
us the
mean,
update. Where do we sit with that?
good good lord. I got to say it that way. Good lord, because that's the only thing I can think about. We're talking about Joe Biden, Camilla Harris, and then Mike Johnson. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, good grief, given those considerations, I'm going to have to take MJ. How much freaking crow can I eat? I
uh,
don't know
I
that.
I bet Gaddy's got heartburn city right now as we speak.
Oh, Gaddy, I would love to hear what Gaddy has to say. I'll bet that dude is just about ready to go jump off the Red River Bridge.
What did my grandmother used to say? A conniption fit.
Yeah, something of that sort. But hey, I say we go do our break thing. We let a few folks get in, ask for those of you that are already in here. Looks like 50 to 60 people. Yeah, y'all tag a few people and tell them, hey, those crazy guys on Bossier Watch, they're going to talk about a couple of things. And what are those couple of things we're going to talk about? MJ, of course, and potentially being the speaker.
Yeah, but we've also got some police jury stuff to talk about from their last meeting, which is, I forget, I think the 19th or 18th or whatever day it was. Anyway, there were some interesting quotes in there, so we're going to talk about that as well as related to that, the library board. And there's a little progress on one of the lawsuits with the Bossier City Council. And I think we'll be able to give a little bit of an update on that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So police jury, MJ for speaker, and
Lawsuit from the city. Progress.
yeah, yeah, that's right. And I got a couple of little tidbits on some other odds and ends that we'll cover when we come back from the break.
That sounds like a plan. I'm going to hit the button, folks. Y'all heard Duke. Make sure and tag and share it out. Go make you popcorn. Get you a good stiff drink. We will be back in just about 3 minutes. Here we go.
Folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. You know, there's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Well, I've not heard my name in stable or Baton Rouge in stable in the same sentence in a long time.
I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, you know, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
They're making a little bit of progress, but I would definitely have to give the race to Caddo Parish right now.
I don't know. Is there anybody from Plain Dealing watching, you think?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Did you or did you not requisition some money to fight against this or for it?
We hired a lobbyist and it cost us $15,000. We were opposed to HB 630.
So for this week, folks, the cockroach of the week, according to Bossier Watch and Duke Lowry and Rex Moncrief, is
Raymond Cruz legislative assistant, Allie Feaster Smith. Thank you, Allie. Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. No way, it was not David. You know it wasn't David Montgomery. David ain't gonna jump off in there with Chris. He ain't gonna do it. He'd soon spit on him as he would even look at him. Man, this is a Mickey D's Krispy Kreme week. Didn't you know? Who's paying y'all? And if you're driving on the roads, are you safe?
It's on the road, yeah.
Well, I know you're on the road, but I mean, is this all folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico and buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. Yeah, that's only going to cause more division that he claims he doesn't want to cause. And it's only going to cause more suspicion. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Coleman Project, the Walker Place deal, through conscious, shocking action. The purpose of their actions was to stop plaintiffs, being the Earl Coleman and associated groups and all, from developing Walker Place. But here's the key thing, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
You hit the button. Does that mean that people are like seeing us sitting here talking and chatting?
In theory, you know, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This Bossier Watch live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Transact Card. Unleash the power of your spending with Z-Bucks. Contact Renee Hall. Smarter Geek. Making technology easier. David Johnson and Eagle Truck Center. Soaring to new heights. and folks sharing information and watching out for Bossier. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. Yes, we'll save that for an after the show discussion. I'm not even going to mention what it is.
Well, I actually appreciated that commentary. I enjoyed. I don't know. I mean, there's some things that give you entertainment, that give you joy, and I think it was reciprocal in that regard. If that is in fact accurate,
If it is accurate, I'm going to be a little sad. Let's just put it that way. But we'll see. We'll talk about it later, and then we'll figure out how to deal with it if it is true. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Janet Lindsay says, why is YouTube behind compared to Facebook? I have no idea, Janet. Typically, it's on about a 8 to 10 second delay, but that kind of depends. I don't know.
And come to think of it, I didn't get my Twitter notification like I normally do. Okay, well,
Raggy. Well, let's check and see if we're on Twitter. I didn't check while we were on the break, but I can certainly check right now.
Hey, so when we were in the break, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this up in a new window, and let's see if I can do a little share screen here for y'all. Did you see the Bossier Parish life thing?
No, I did not. But let's see. Share
Bossier Parish Life had a post, and actually someone made the post on their show and said coming soon to Bossier City, which a roundabout with a freaking train in the middle of it.
That is hilarious. And how appropriate is that? I should imagine that we'll have one soon.
I mean, but here's the problem with this. I mean, while we think this is comedy, I mean, I could see this crap happening.
Well, but I got a question though. Where the hell are they going to put the next tower of tax dollars if they have a train going through it?
I don't freaking know, but I can see freaking Ruttenbuck. He's licking his chops right now. He's like, "Oh yeah, give me some of that. I want in on that."
No railroad crossings, no lights, no nothing, just the roundabout and the train tracks.
He says, "Heck, I see a path to Speaker of the House with this right here. Give me that job."
Oh, that's great. Okay, so while you're figuring out how to cause more, I don't know, train derailments, traffic jams.
Does anybody find this unrealistic that in Bossier Parish that we could come up with this? I think it's plausible.
Well, Janet Lindsay says she loves it. Thank you, Janet. And she asked, so is there 3 roundabouts? Well, the only roundabout that I'm really familiar with is that one that's got the stupid tower of tax dollars in the middle of it. Let's see, where else do we have roundabouts in Bossier?
Well,
down there by Bass Pro Shops.
Most of them are at City Hall, but that's another discussion. But
that's a whole other thing. So anyway, we're glad to have everybody here. We're up to about 80 people, give or take a little bit, and we're glad to have all of y'all and joining in the commentary.
Yeah. So hey, Rex, look, Walk on Water is going to make us all have to eat crow. He is rolling.
How so? Is he speaker yet? I mean, what's the latest? What's going on? Give us the latest and greatest rundown.
Okay, so as you know, a couple of shows ago, whenever they I was saying it about getting McCarthy out of there and where this thing was go. I didn't think MJ would be able to get himself into position, but I got to give credit where credit's due. The freaking guy is in contention. He's freaking there. And
he can walk on water. Surely he can waltz into the speakership. Come on.
Well, he's well on his way. So as you know, they booted him. They threw Scalise in there. Everybody kicked Scalise out because look, let's face it. I mean, Scalise he's been there a long time. He's got medical issues. I respect that. Probably doesn't need to be in there with the medical issues. But I mean, he's kind of swampy. I mean, he's on there. I mean, look, remember the campaign finance stuff where you had primarily Democrats or the swamp types that would have these donations from this one individual, like 54 donations in a day kind of thing,
Right.
from different
Right.
people across the country. Scalise was one of those guys. He's one of those guys. Conservative rating was not all that well, so what did they do? They put up Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, 100% conservative life rating. Like, he's always scored 100% for the whole time he's been in Congress. Never faltered, ever. Well, that wasn't happening. And why was that not happening? Because K Street didn't want him. The lobbyists up there in DC. Now, remember this word, Rex. The lobbyists were fighting tooth and nail to prevent a true limited government person from becoming the speaker. So the lobbyists were able to stop that. Here comes the next round. So then their next best hope, they've done got rid of McCarthy. They done got rid of Scalise. The next, swamp person is this Emmer guy. And if you, let's see here, go to cut one Emmer, a lot of folks probably don't know who this guy is, but he's from Oklahoma. Oklahoma is probably one of the more conservative states in the country.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
Doesn't change the fact that they do have some non-limited government people or swampy types, and this freaking guy was one of them.
So, wait, what does he have on his face?
Well, that was actually a post I made on Twitter bright and early this morning when he was the leading contender. They had a vote in conference. Emmer got the most, a secret ballot amongst Republicans. He got the most votes. So Byron Donalds got the second most votes, and Mike Johnson, Walk on Water, got the third most.
Okay.
So they proceeded to the floor with this guy, and guess what? They wasn't going to. He didn't have the votes. So Trump, during the middle of the day, because all the not Oklahoma, I stand corrected. That was Hearn from Oklahoma. This guy's from Minnesota. Thank you, Jeff Sadow, for correcting me.
Yeah.
Jeff Sadow, I got to give him credit. He's on top of things.
Yeah.
This guy's from up there in Minnesota with, all of the Palestinian terrorist people, Tlaib and all them up that group. This is the guy from up there. Not conservative. Anyway, so he ended up getting kicked by the curb because Trump put out a statement today and said, no way in any shape, form, or fashion should this guy be the Speaker of the House. So immediately saw there was no way he was getting the votes. There were over, like really fast, like 30 Republicans came out and said, no way they're voting for this guy.
All right, wait a minute. I want to make sure I heard you correctly if I can talk tonight. Anyway, you said that Trump put out the memo or something to that effect that no way you should vote for this guy. So,
correct.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear that Trump still is basically de facto leader of the Republican Party.
Until Trump put that statement out, this guy was fixing to be your speaker. Trump put out a statement and nixed it. And within probably 30 minutes to an hour of Trump putting a statement out, Emmer pulled his name out of the hat. He's out.
Interesting.
So now it goes back to another vote. The next closest guy was MJ. I mean, he was there. Byron Donalds had done backed out, and Walk on Water was right there with the next most votes. So now the Republican conference has went back. They're right now, as we speak, they're right now behind closed doors, secret balloting as to who the next potential name that they're going to put up. Well, I can tell you how this is going to go.
Okay.
Byron Donalds, he's a African-American from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. I got to tell you, he is a conservative. He is a limited government guy. I mean, look, to all of you, all of our friends who are Democrats or, not necessarily as conservative as us, and you probably cringe having to listen to some of our limited government views or what have you. But, this guy is that. I'm just calling it like it is. I'm fixing to put you on Team MJ. Y'all are fixing to
Wait,
like this. You're
hold
fixing to
on.
warm up.
I'm
You're
not.
fixing to warm up to walk on water.
I'm not through with the guy from Florida yet. So you said his name's Byron Donalds. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, if he's put in the speaker position, correct me if I'm wrong, that will be the first black or African American or whatever speaker of the House ever, right?
That you're absolutely correct.
And he would be a Republican, right?
And he'd be a Republican. You better believe it. You better believe it.
Interesting. Okay.
So now look, they're jockeying, right? So if you go to cut 2, MJ's trying. It ain't like MJ's just. I keep saying MJ. I'm calling him MJ. It's walk on water. I got to remember walk on water.
You might should refer to him as future Speaker of the House.
Yeah, maybe so. Oh, good grief! Having to already start to eat the crow here. Ryan Haygood, help me.
Well, he's trying. He says Donald's has a 100% liberty rating. I mean, that is a plus in his favor.
Absolutely. And hey, I am definitely, we're fixing to get to that. But Walk on Water is trying, in fact, so this morning, or yesterday morning, bright and early, he's already putting a letter out to all of the congressmen with a plan and a timeline. There's a cut 2 and cut 3, or both the 1 and 2 pages of what Walk on Water is putting a plan out there for how to proceed for the rest of this Congress. I will give him credit. That's pretty smart. Did he think of this himself? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's probably got Steve Scalise in the background coaching him in which direction to go. And
maybe not. I mean, look, he is pretty wily.
Oh, no doubt. He's slick as a catfish. But, you know, a lot of people say, well, nah, there's no way. He's not taking the directions from Scalise, you know, because Scalise really isn't a conservative, and Walk on Water, he is a conservative. Well, is he really a conservative? I mean, you know, you and I have talked about it, but I don't think the majority of people believe us. I mean, do I think he's conservative? Yeah. Is he limited government? Not so fast, Dano. Let's check that out a little bit.
Well, he talks a good game, though.
Oh, he talks the best. No doubt about it. So Ryan Haygood said, you know, he's got a 74%, and Byron Donalds has a 100% liberty score. So what exactly are we talking about? And I got a cut 10. What exactly is the liberty score? Well, Conservative Review established this guideline for, you know, how to determine how, you know, your federal government legislators, your senators and your congressmen, just how conservative they are. And, you know, they grade them over a long period of time, and it's kind of the guidepost to determine how conservative a member of Congress or of the Senate is. And let me see here. If you share screen, we will. Nope, that's not it. There we go. So, as Ryan Haygood was pointing out, you know, you have a scale, and I got to go all the way back to the beginning. And where does Byron Donalds and if you'll share my screen now, where does Byron Donalds and where does Mike Johnson stand?
All right, let me click this share Duke screen button here. There we go. Okay.
So to give you reference, you may know a lot of these names. You got Chip Roy right there at the top, 100%. Bob Good, he's there at 100%. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Paul Gosar, Lauren Boebert, Dan Bishop, Andy Biggs, and, you know, then it drops off. Byron Donalds, all 100%. They're listed as being the most conservative members of Congress, period. They're it. Top of the food chain. 100% limited government on all of the major issues. They're the guys. So where's Mike Johnson? You know, let's go to the next line. You know, you start going down the list of names that you probably, Louis Gohmert's in there, Thomas Massey, Tim Burchett, You go to the next one, names that you're not going to recognize. Well, let's keep going until we find Mike Johnson. Well, let's see, where is Mike Johnson? We're down in the 86 percentiles. Okay. No, still Mo Brooks. That's a name people may recognize. Still in the 84 percentile. Though there's my guy, Matt Getz.
Yeah, 84.
Matt Getz, he's limited government, no doubt about it. Clay Higgins, without a doubt. Clay Higgins is limited government guy. 80%.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what metrics they use to actually score this, but okay.
Yeah. So keeping on jumping, I'm clicking pages past, we're 70 percentiles set. Whoop, there we go.
Oh.
74%. He actually is just below Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw is listed as being Washington, D.C. swamp. Mike Johnson's rating is right there below Dan Crenshaw.
Well, but wouldn't that be good for Mike? I mean, wouldn't that up his chances to get the Speaker of the House position, because he's got to have a certain number of Democrat votes, right?
I totally agree with that. It actually benefits him to have a lower rating here. But to all of those people out there that think that he walks on water, sorry to report, he's not the most conservative guy out there. He's absolutely not.
Very interesting. I need to pay attention to how they do those metrics. That's very, very interesting. All right. So, what are his chances of actually getting Speaker of the House? What are you giving?
Well, they started over again. I'm saying he's got an 80% chance, 70-80% chance. Byron Donald's name is back in the hat. The things he's got working against him is the fact that we've already got someone in Louisiana on the leadership, which being Steve Scalise. I could conceivably see Steve Scalise taking one for the team and kind of backing away to usher in Mike Johnson. I mean, let's face it, Mike Johnson lives and dies off of, using other people, to burnish himself. And that's how he's moved along, is by using other people. He's good at it.
He is.
He's the best.
That he is. Well, I mean, look, I hate to say it, but for the sake of Louisiana, I hope he gets it. I mean, he's there. He's there already. Yeah, he's there already. I mean, we give him hell on the show for, well, reasons that are too numerous to list that we've talked about many times. But if he's in contention, hey, I hope he gets it.
I mean, it can't hurt, Louisiana to have the Speaker of the House. I don't know. I think they're going to fight Byron Donalds, and I think he's going to be the guy that, I read tons of Twitter pages from people all across the country, not people from our community, but across the country, all saying, who is this Mike Johnson guy? Who is it? And they kept playing these cuts from Judiciary Committee where, he was crossing, some of the witnesses, and, they were saying, oh yeah, I can go with that. I can go with that. And that was painting the picture of him. And, we, like you always say, we're living it. We're right here personal. We know him personally. So we have a different perspective than people across the country. Well, the people who have been across the country, who have been fighting all of the other people, they're all like, hey, you know what? I can go with this guy. I can go with this guy. Because they don't know anything.
It pains me to say it, but there could be a lot worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So enough about MJ. I mean, our conclusion is he has a pretty good shot. When are they supposed to vote again? Or are they voting again tonight, or do we know?
I think they're having another conference vote. The Republican conference meeting tonight, 8:00. It's probably, what time is it now? Not quite 8:00. 30 minutes. They'll be meeting in D.C. They'll have their vote then. And whoever probably comes out with the most votes, they'll go to the floor tomorrow morning with that name and hold a vote. And we'll do this for a few more days. Byron Donalds may make it. He may not make it. And if he doesn't, Byron Donalds will retract his name. And then I can tell you it'll probably be Mike Johnson.
Well, you know, an interesting thing, I saw a meme earlier, maybe it was yesterday, and you know, it made me think. You hear a lot of people saying, how long has this been dragging on? Like a week now or something like that? Something crazy?
Yeah.
No speaker?
Yeah. Hey, Haygood makes a really good point. Scalise is involved in the FTX scandal. Yeah, Ryan Haygood, so was Emmer.
Yeah.
Emmer got money by way of the FTX scandal. So
There's
all the people
a lot of people involved in that scandal.
Yeah, and they're talking like some RICO stuff out of multiple states, you know, filing RICO charges. I mean, I hope that comes to pass. And everybody who had a hand in all that, I hope they're all frog marched, every single last one of them. But
well, okay. So the one thing that I was going to comment on is this has been dragging on now for what, a week or two, something like that. No Speaker of the House. The Republicans can't seem to get their act together and figure out a speaker, right?
Right. And
well, you know what the one positive thing of all this is?
I know where you're going. Come on with it.
Well, it's that they're actually not able to do anything at all. And to me, that's a good thing. They're not spending any money. I mean, any more than the machine that's already money spending machine that's already turning, but they're not spending any additional money. I mean, they're not passing any stupid laws. I just see this as a positive thing.
Here's what I want to see. When McCarthy was the speaker, the day before McCarthy got ousted, what was the debt clock? And then what is the debt clock today? What's the rate in which it's increasing or decreasing or whatever?
Yeah, did it actually slow? It's not going to stop, certainly, but did it at least slow down for a little bit?
I would be willing to bet that it slowed down. I'd be willing to bet.
So they can stay up there and argue over who's going to be Speaker of the House for the next couple of years, for all I care.
Ruth Pope Johnson, who created the war?
There's a war going on.
Right,
we need a
there
speaker.
Is a war going. Who created it? Who started it?
Well, but let's look at it this way. Congress declares war. So if does the war declaration originate in the House? Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Somebody in the comments. So no speaker, no declaration of war. See, it's a good way to avoid World War III officially.
Unconventional, no doubt. But
I'm taking the Trump stance, anti-war, right?
Well, he dang sure didn't get. I mean, yeah. So all the Democrats that were like, Trump's going to get us into World War III. Well, guess what? It wasn't Trump. It was you. You've gotten us into it.
Way of Israel and Hamas. Let me make sure I'm clear on that. I fully support Israel flattening Hamas. So.
Anyway. Yeah, how many is the numbers going to drop? Let's see. No, it's not dropping too bad yet. I'm trying.
Okay, so let's get to something. But look, folks, that is Bossier centric, and I think somebody pointed it out. Was it Ruth Pope Johnston or somebody that said earlier from North Louisiana? Not only, here we go, MJ. Not only Louisiana, but North Louisiana. So, you know, it's definitely related to Bossier, without a doubt, because he is from Bossier. Well, report, but okay. So
So
what's next?
Well, the lawsuit or the police jury? Which one do folks want to talk about?
We'll let y'all vote on it. City council lawsuit update or the police jury and the library board. I kind of got them out of order there, but you know, it's one of those days. Wait, let it. I guess I got to get us an elevator music deal here. Val Baker says police jury lawsuit update. What has he done? Both. Okay, Val. Yeah, thanks, Val. That's real decisive. All right, here we go.
It's a police jury, so we'll go to the police jury.
All right, let's do the police jury. So I guess we'll go ahead and go to replay. Let me get this screen situated here. Oh, and while I'm switching screens around, what I was checking just a minute ago is I got a text message from somebody who was watching our show, Mike Edwards, if you're out there. Anyway, he was asking about the hats. I know I keep saying, you know, we got nice Richardson 112 hats. I do have about 3 or 4 of them over there. So I promise I am going to get those blasted hats where people can buy them. And anyway, if you need one, send a deal in the comments, send a text message, whatever. I'll figure out how to get you. All right.
I'm just wondering. Brian Haygood makes a comment that prompts a thought in my mind. I wonder if people thinks that MJ Walk on Water is swayable by the lobbyist. Do they think that he will be the guy that breaks the swamp, or will he be the guy that enables the swamp? Will the lobbyist is he amenable to the lobbyist's will?
He's gonna do just like everybody. Name me one thing that he's done.
Okay, wait a minute. He voted for the budget for wait a minute. What was it? The transgender studies in Pakistan?
In Pakistan, I think it was Pakistan.
Was it Pakistan?
Yeah.
Didn't he vote for that?
Somebody, serious question. Somebody in the comments, as you know, we move into the police jury stuff, but somebody in the comments, name me some important piece of legislation that Mike Johnson has pushed through as a rep in D.C. For that matter,
I got it.
For that matter,
didn't he do this? Didn't he do the civility thing in Congress?
What?
Yeah, didn't he try to pass some kind of civility thing in Congress?
So they could be more. I want to see them duel, like with swords.
You know, like Ron White. Hey, if gay is your way, that's okay. No, that wrong guy.
Right,
but no, the civility thing. He did try to do something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so somebody, your wife says Civility Act. So y'all think about that. Let us know something that Mike Johnson's done that's really constructive. All right. Let's go to the police jury, and then we'll go to the lawsuit update. So I'm going to switch screens over here to our infamous replay. Let me make sure I've got the, the Bossier Parish Police Jury's audio sucks so bad for their meetings. It's ridiculous that they can't get it halfway decent until they get their new studio or whatever done. This is just stupid, but it is what it is. So folks, y'all forgive us. We're doing the best we can with our audio. All right, Mr. Lowry. I did watch this, and then you went in and tagged some deals. Shall we start with the colonel on term limits? I mean, pretty much he just lectures them on term limits. Or shall we move on up to the good stuff?
I was trying to cure multiple messages during the show regarding the subjects that we have been discussing already real quick. So I didn't hear a word you were saying, if you can believe that. Anyway.
Well, that I do believe. Shall we start with Colonel Crockett lecturing the police jury on term limits again? No disrespect to him for doing that. Or shall we move on to the good stuff?
Let's move on to the good stuff. I mean,
I agree.
I'm pretty confident we know what the colonel's going to say. Now, this young lady right here, she did have a couple of questions, and which was interesting. So just play a little bit of this dialogue.
Yeah, and folks, again, we apologize for the poor quality audio, but you'll have to kind of strain your ears a little bit to hear it. Here we go.
I'm 74 Oliver Road, Holland, Louisiana. Why would you be appointed to a 5-year term when there's an election every 4 years?
Probably be appointed to a 5-year term.
He can still serve on a committee.
I beg your pardon?
He's the right five. He can still serve on the committee for 5 years. You don't have to be an elected official.
Okay, but why aren't citizens, residents on the library board?
They are the same.
Yeah, you have to be a resident to be on the citizen voter.
Yeah, but didn't the police jury take over the library board?
I mean, look.
Did you hear? Didn't the police jury take over the library board?
That sums up this whole dialogue here. They're playing semantics. They know what she's saying, but they don't want to.
They're trying to play dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, there are citizens of the parish on them. Yeah, each one of them to be able to run for police jury. Now, if they were trying to be the parish administrator, that's a totally different subject.
Right.
But they're all not running to be a parish administrator.
All right, let's continue on for a second. This is pretty good dialogue.
It's always been under the police jury. It was created by the police jury.
Okay, but you had residents on there at one time.
That's-
Just ordinary citizens.
Well, we always had residents. We found out one time a couple of years, a year or so ago, that someone no longer was a resident, so we had to replace that person, but you do have to be a resident of Bossier Parish.
Okay.
Now you remember who they're talking about.
Oh yeah, when they kicked the little old lady off the library board, we covered it on, I forget what show number it was, but yeah, I absolutely remember that.
Been on the library board for 30, 40 years, something like that. And all of a sudden they suddenly determined that, oh, you now don't live in the parish, so or you moved or your property is outside the parish. So, oh, guess what? You can't be on here anymore. And oh, by the way, we're going to appoint somebody from the police jury to take your position.
And by the way, if she wanted to apply for parish administrator, she could go ahead and do that because, as we all know, Butch Ford proved the fact that you don't have to be a voter in Bossier Parish to be appointed to something for the police jury that requires that you are a voter in the parish. I mean, it's kind of the same thing but different. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so confusing with the police jury. Here's what I told you earlier, and I want to say this on the air. The police jury is where the city council was just about 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months ago. They think they can get by with anything. So we're going to turn our attention to them more and more as time goes on. All right, here we go.
That the chairman of the police jury is an officio member.
Ex officio.
Ex-officio member of the library board. So who is on the library board?
Right now, the sitting members are myself, Juliana Parks, Glenn Benton, Bob Brotherton, and Charles Gray.
Okay, where are the regular
Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold up a second.
Stop the press.
So he just called out all the names. Well, they're all right, sitting right there.
Yeah. He should have just looked to either side. This one and this one and this one and this one.
But wait a minute. Aren't they having a quorum right now?
That's an interesting question there, Mr. Lowry.
Aren't they?
But did they actually decide any library business?
Yeah, they're deciding. They're deciding on an appointee to fill a position, I believe.
Oh, really?
So
that brings an interesting point.
I'm just wondering.
Did they publicize and declare that this was going to be a dual police jury library board meeting?
I don't know that they did. I think they just said this was a police jury meeting.
Well, look,
the library board is their meeting.
Look, they don't care about that. And look, I hate to tell Patrick Jackson, but he does this on purpose, and we'll hear it here in a minute. He keeps equating this to the dual office holding, to the dual office holding, to the dual office holding. And yeah, there's some people raising Cain about that, but I'm more concerned about the statute that says they have to, what's her name? What Miss Odom was referring to is that they have to appoint citizens of the parish. Now, granted, each of the police jury members is a citizen of the parish, but I think the spirit of that law is that the president of the police jury was going to serve as the ex officio member, and then the rest of them appointees would be like non-police jury members, residents of the parish. Otherwise, it would have, I think, spelled it out, but maybe I'm wrong in that.
Well, look, here is an amazing question. So when Charles Gray comes off of the police jury, are they going to remove him or when his police jury term ends, are they going to remove him off the board?
Well, they address that here in just a few minutes.
I don't know.
Kind of, sort of address it.
He kind of forces the issue here. Anyway.
Yeah, he does. All right, so let me play this on through.
Elected officials. Yes, you used to have people who were not elected. Clara Davis has been on there.
Sure.
Mars.
Yeah, I've been on the oversight committee for 12 years. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So what happened to an ordinary resident, an ordinary citizen of Bossier Parish being on the police on the library board? What happened to that?
Yeah, what happened to having citizens?
I mean,
how did you change it?
I think
As the terms came up, then we appointed other people.
Okay, I mean, if you have an ordinance, what did you do to get the ordinance changed so that you only have police jury members on the board?
They just voted.
They just did
They
it.
create all the ordinances.
We just voted.
This
Okay,
body
and so-
is the legislative body that creates the ordinance.
Okay.
They voted to suspend that ordinance.
Repealed, so the ordinance.
All right, so let's give the summary version. She's giving them a little grief over how did you vote yourselves on the board, or how did you do it? And well, like Patrick said, well, they just voted themselves on. They just did it, which is true.
Yeah, we just decided we're going to put ourselves on there. To heck with anybody else.
Yeah, here we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Could I see that somewhere?
Sure, it's in the public record.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thanks. Have a nice day. Appreciate it.
We filed a lawsuit to see if he's right.
You know, speaking of lawsuits, have we gotten any response from Charles Jacobs on that public information we requested for whatever gag order was issued by or allegedly issued by the federal judge on parts of the Link Coleman case? We hadn't even got a response from the city on that, have we yet?
I don't think so, unless they've sent it in the last hour.
Well, that's been how long now? Going on 3 weeks?
Oh, I don't know. Speaking of asshats, as Ryan Haygood alluded to a while ago, that asshat just loves to violate public information request law.
Yeah,
the
I'm
sunshine
sorry.
laws.
I got us off a little bit, but he's been busy. I'll give you. I know he's been busy quite a bit. He's had a lot going on.
He's got a lot of things he's juggling at the moment, including the Attorney General, a federal lawsuit, or well, it was filed in district court. Let me rephrase that.
But
anyway.
that ought not be a hard request. I mean, I would feel confident that they probably have that just sitting on their desk, because I think, when any new elected official or even them come in, they were all told, hey, you can't talk about all of this because of the gag order. So they all know it. It ought to be readily available for him to just produce that. Here's the gag order. But I don't know,
All right, let's listen to the colonel's response here, because I think it's pretty good.
To Louisiana. I think the answer to your question, ma'am, is that the Attorney General has said that this would be considered dual office holding, that the police jury cannot appoint itself, because they're elected officials, to hold a position as a library board member. I think that I would like to hear what the parish attorney, if he disagrees with the Attorney General, who's going to be our new governor, feels about these positions. We ran into a legal situation in the past, which Robert Berry's one of my, I'm getting to know him more, and I think he's one of my favorite people. But when you go against the state's attorney, and then you take away the right of the people to serve.
Wait a minute. Was that a veiled threat from the colonel to the police jury?
I got to tell you,
folks, did y'all catch that? Colonel said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but the colonel said that Robert Berry is becoming one of his favorite people, and he's really getting to know him, or something to that effect. Robert Berry knows where a lot of the proverbial bodies are buried.
Yes, he does.
That could be interesting.
Well, look, let's jump ahead to the 115 mark, because that is when Charles Gray, he raises that library board issue up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, look, there's that guy that used to vote in Caddo, but now has the remodeling job going on in Bossier. And anyway, what's that guy's name?
That's the guy. Juliana said, it's all a lie that he wasn't a registered voter or resident of Bossier. Then Rimmer gets up and says, oh, wait a minute, we knew he wasn't when we did it. And apparently, supposedly, maybe now he has.
It's okay that they broke the law, because they're correcting how they broke the law. It's okay for them to break the law, just not.
But as I understand it, it's
common folks.
And it's still being has some contention. It's still being
broken,
argued. I don't know what the correct word is. We're both stretching. So anyway, Charles Gray.
Here we go.
Yeah, a question, Mr. Ford. Yes, Mr. President, on that. Mr. Ford, is it possible we could revisit the reappointments on the library board to, like the lady had stated, regular people in the community?
That would be a,
Which I can help you. I mean, the jury votes to approve those. So a majority of the jurors can choose to appoint whoever which it wishes.
Do you understand what he was asking?
All right, let me pause it right there. So
He
it's a little
asked,
muffled because their audio's terrible. But what was he asking?
yeah, he asked a really simple question. He said, "Can we get back to appointing, regular people to the library board?"
Simple question.
Do they have to be police jurors?
Yeah,
And
simple,
he's on the
legit question.
library. Yeah, and Patrick Jackson says, "Oh, the library board can appoint. I mean, the police jury can appoint whoever they want to the library board."
They can point whoever the hell they want to be parish administrator. They can do it to the library board too.
So
All
finish playing what he said.
Here we go.
Pass it, put a vote up for us to reappoint people. That's what you're saying, that we can do that?
You've always been able to do that.
Well, I'm just saying, I was appointed on the library board, and at that time, my understanding, we were going through a dilemma. And from what I understand now, the dilemma has passed, and I have gotten calls from different people would love to be a participant on the library board. So what I need to do I need to make a motion to maybe appoint someone from the community?
When the next appointment comes up, you could do that.
You gotta do it at that appointed time.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless there's some other issue that causes the jury to terminate terms early, and they can do that for good cause.
what is your seat, for the library board?
Well, now it'll be, I don't know when the last date of the, it'd be up in January.
No.
December.
No.
When is it?
It's a 5-year term.
5-year term? So when will it be up? Well, actually, I won't be on the board as of January.
Let me stop it right there.
I think what he's trying to say is that since he lost his election for police jury and he's going to be coming off in January,
he thought he was coming off the library board too.
He will no longer be able to be on the library board because he's no longer a police juror.
Well, under the current regime, that would be true. Might not be legally true, but who cares about the law?
Yeah. Keep going.
Now, he could, so Barry Butler says, or the jurors could resign. He could resign from the library board. That would open up a position, but they just fill it with another police juror.
Well, I'm just wondering, why is it that all the police jurors doesn't trust anybody in Bossier Parish to be able to fill that role and to do it? Why do they not? Why do they not think that there are other citizens in the parish that can do that? Do they think they are the only ones that can do it?
Apparently so. Their actions are speaking louder than their words.
I mean, kings and queens of countries have felt that way for centuries, lifetimes.
Could be interesting.
Who knew we had it right here in Bossier?
Right here in Bossier. All right, here we go. Let's finish this up.
So I didn't win my election. That's why.
But you'll still be on the library.
I'll still be on board. Okay, so
You'll
I
be a
can.
regular citizen, just like they wanted, just like they wanted.
Okay, well, that sounds good.
You can resign from the board.
Just like they wanted. You'll be a regular citizen just like they wanted. So, there you have it.
Well, I don't know. Did that just not sound arrogant to you? I mean, that bothered me a little
really arrogant to me.
I mean, anyway.
I know. Well, all right. Let's fast forward to Philip Rogers. Let's see.
Oh, he had to take a stab at it too.
Yeah. Now, I think this actually may start a little before Philip, so here we go.
Right.
I want to thank everybody that voted for me to give you this
well, maybe
job, and I appreciate that. One more thing. Patrick, I'd like to talk to you about this library board a little more situation. In my, didn't the police jury create the library board?
Well, way before this was a gubernatorial issue, the Attorney General's office had issued several opinions about this very.
Before it was a gubernatorial issue?
What is he talking about?
I don't know. He says that multiple times when I was listening to it earlier. I mean, granted, everybody, so y'all know we've skipped, this is an hour and 46 minutes long. We've skipped quite a bit of it.
I think what he's trying to say, he's trying to link their actions to the library board stuff that was going on in South Louisiana. Because remember, there was a lot of fights about, all of these books with this content that was being put in these libraries. I think they were trying to justify their rating of the library board with that there. And in fact, we heard Juliana Parks say something to that effect at the PEC meeting.
Oh, it was more than to that effect. She flat out said that, they were the only ones that could save us, Obi-Wan.
But again, it goes back to, obviously, she believes her and the rest of the jackwagons are the only conservatives that would even have that view that could even do the job or take that position. Didn't even give anybody from the public a chance. Didn't even give any consideration.
Yeah. Well, our good friend Barry Butler says, get to Rimmer. We're getting there, Barry. We're getting there. All right, so let's keep playing it.
Subject. And those are the law for the AG's office, not some administrative pamphlets that are sent out for library boards to use.
Yeah.
So I sent y'all the current Attorney General's opinions along with the creation ordinance, where the Bossier Parish Police Jury created the library system in 1939 through 41.
Okay.
And there's a specific exemption from a dual office holding violation for you to appoint yourselves to committees that you've established. So we're on solid footing. There is absolutely no dual office holding problem. The case law is 100% clear. There's not a single
100%.
case to support any other conclusion. That is why you have seen no action by the Attorney General's office. I expect when the new Attorney General's office gets in, they will clear up this literature issue. I think they rushed out, put some literature.
It's a literature issue, Duke. Literature issue.
Literature issue. Well, you just got a hard head, Rex.
Well, where was Patrick Jackson? Let's see. He wasn't at the meeting. It was the adults in the room when they came up, when the Cypress District reappointment came up, and they asked Robert Berry. It seems like it was the adults in the room and not Patrick Jackson that was representing the police jury at that particular meeting.
No. See, you're mistaken. It was Patrick Jackson that said, we're filing this suit to see if the Attorney General is correct or not. Well, lo and behold, guess who was correct? The Attorney
General. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Out there. Once I educated on them, I'm still waiting on phone calls. No phone calls in return. I've called at least 5 times asking for additional information and clarification. But right now you have all the Attorney General's opinions and the dual office holding law, which specifically exempts it. So I appreciate Facebook does a lot of great things, but it doesn't give good legal advice.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear that? I wonder who he's talking about.
Well, he could have took a note on the Robert Berry case and would have saved some folks some time and money, but no, we shouldn't listen to Facebook. I agree with that.
Never listen to Facebook, Robert Berry. Anyway, yeah. So,
but hey, the other thing is, hey, I wonder if he's taken in consideration that the state constitution that enabled Bossier Parish to create the library system, was in the 1920s. That predates the Bossier Parish Police Jury founding a library board. I mean, he didn't say that. I don't know why he didn't say that, but he didn't say that.
I got to tell you, Duke, I'm on, and I wish I had the video clip queued up, but I don't. But I got to tell you, I think I'm going to be on the side of Juliana Parks on this one. Because those little old ladies that were on the library board and running those libraries were obviously putting in some material that needed to be burned. I mean, they literally need to burn some of those books, according to Juliana Parks. And only Doug Rimmer and Juliana Parks could save us from ourselves.
Only Doug Rimmer and Juliana Parks. The anti-cockroach team. Got it.
You know, okay. I just want to make sure. All right, here we go.
So if we created the library board, did we create the highway department also?
We did.
So why do we have to have a library board and not have one on the highway department board?
So there was a period of time when things weren't so clear, and why they established the library boards of control, I really can't tell you. I don't know why they did that. We've operated with those for a long, long time, but they lost their usefulness because, as you know, appointed officials are not nearly as responsive to the electorate as our elected officials.
Whoa, did y'all hear that? Appointed officials are not nearly as responsive to the public as elected officials. Now, I absolutely agree with him on that, all kidding aside. Appointed bureaucrats are not responsive. That's the point we've been trying to make or made about the Cypress District.
Well,
and it's the point with this.
Wait a minute. Didn't the police jury get their lobbyist, Ginger Corley, or what's her name? Isn't it Ginger Corley?
I think that's her last name.
To oppose Dodie Horton's bill to try to have accountability to appointees on the Cypress District? Wasn't the police jury? Didn't they jump in on that bandwagon, or was it the Cypress District on their own?
Actually, it was a combination. So the Cypress District funded it.
So are you telling me that the police jury right here are trying to have their cake and eat it too?
Yeah, and look, well, they appointed themselves, so now are you saying, Patrick, that since the police jurors are now appointed to the library board, that they're not going to be as responsive to public requests as they would be if they weren't appointed to that board?
Well, no.
That's follow the bouncing ball here.
I'm wondering, was he saying that, okay, if we appoint a non-police juror to the library board, we can't remove them the same way we can't remove them on the Cypress District. They argued with a lobbyist, to prevent any changes to that. I'm wondering if that's what he's trying to say, and that's why they slowly replaced the people on the library board one at a time, because once they make an appointment, they can't remove them or roll it back.
Very good point. Our friend Ryan Haygood says, what is the hustle for the library board to control money, kickbacks? What's the deal? Well, the library board's got a how many $1 million budget? I don't know. It's pretty good size. Jeff Sadow probably tell us.
It was a huge amount of money that they were sitting on, and they had deliberated for a lot of years on building a new central library, and maybe the existing library board wasn't moving at the speed that they wanted to, or maybe it was just simply that the police jurors themselves were being steered or counseled to take control of it so that you can, delineate the construction process, so you can control it.
I don't know.
I'm just spitballing here.
And our good friend Jeff Sadow's commenting. He says the all-juror board illegally appointed Ford as interim library director when state law says you have to be credentialed to head a library system. Well, they skip all those other laws, Jeff. So, newsflash, I don't think they care about that one either.
Well, I think Rimmer has something to say about all of the objections that us out here in the public, Facebook land or social media land, or, any objections that anybody else. I think he has some descriptions. I mean, he didn't call us cockroaches, but.
Well, not this time, but why, yes, Duke, he does. So I'm going to hit play and he'll be up in about 30 seconds.
And I think all of you agree that elected officials are more accountable to the people. And so
elected officials more that's got to be the statement of the year.
Right.
And I don't think the public gets to see that like we do, Because when you're just appointed to a board, you have nobody calling you and checking on you like we do.
That's right.
Okay. So we'll talk about it further and where we need to stand on this deal.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on a second. When you're appointed to the board, what do you say? You don't have as much accountability because the elected officials aren't calling and checking on your, or somehow he said, he made me think about when they decrying Dodie Horton because Dodie Horton wasn't coming to the police jury. Well, but yet he just said them calling the people on the board. What am I missing here? So they pick
Those
and choose who
nuggets
they're
of
going to call
wisdom
and
from Philip Rogers.
who they're going to call and who they're not going to call. Oh, well, this year we're not going to call Dodie Horton and coordinate with her, but yet we're going to blame her.
Andy Monica says, I was told that the library was checking out bread makers and coffee makers to citizens with a library card. That's interesting. I hadn't been to the library, honestly, in a long time. As a matter of fact, I've never been to check out a book at the Bossier library system, but I didn't know you could rent coffee makers. Next time my coffee pot goes bad, I'm going to go check out one from the library.
Was that Little Debbie bread makers or,
Good question. I wonder if you could check out the instruction manual for the bread maker when you check out the bread maker.
See, I don't ever hear about these deals. Why can't I get in on these deals? That gum.
All right, here we go.
He's been on the library board in Jefferson Parish, Jeff Davis Parish for 12 years. They all serve all over the parish, so it's not just two.
You're serving on the library board for very common.
Here we go.
But I don't care how many times you tell certain people that, they don't get it through the skull. And some of the people made comments today that they have been corrected, just as our attorney informed us, we're on sound legal ground.
Sound legal ground. Get it through your thick skulls, you public peons.
They can't get it once they've been told, and they can't get it through their skull.
All you
100%.
Facebook keyboard warriors.
Keep going. He wasn't done.
And if that changes, if that ground changes, we'll change with it and happily. We never replaced anybody off the board when their term was not expiring. When it expired, we let it expire and we appointed other people. And we did have one who had moved out of the parish, no longer lived in Bossier Parish, and she wanted to stay on the board, and some of the citizen board members wanted her to, but we could not keep her on the board. We had to follow the rules.
Had to follow the rules. Remember, he told us they follow the rules always. They follow the rules, except Butch Ford and, well, kind of the library board. Well, Robert Berry, but they follow the rules.
Okay, look, you got to give Juliana a shot. She was trying to get in there. Got to give her an opportunity.
All right, so let's go on up. I'm going to skip ahead to her.
I know that Doug said we had to move on, but I just did want to add two little things about the library board. First of all, I just wanted to point out that it does say actually on the Attorney General's website that these are advisory only and they don't have the force and effect of law. And again, as Patrick pointed out, this wasn't even an opinion, and that would apply to opinions. This was even less forceful than that from our Attorney General, who is our newly elected governor. So we are not crossing him when we say that, maybe you've got this particular opinion wrong. Attorneys do that a lot. Every time there's a case, you have two different opinions, and the judge decides which opinion is right.
Really?
So,
100% if you get a lawyer's opinion. 100%.
And sometimes the judges get it wrong, and things have to go to the Louisiana Supreme Court, and then they set things straight.
Doug Rimmer said, though, you 100%. It's been set straight.
Yeah.
Doug Rimmer, 100%.
There hasn't been a judge that's decided that in this issue. And so there are differing opinions about that. I also wanted to point out that, like, this opinion is not law, the statute is law, and the statute clearly says, the dual office holding statute clearly says that it does not apply and that we can't appoint ourselves.
They keep going to the dual office holding statute, but I digress.
ourselves to the library board. And also the Constitution, the state Constitution says that we could completely eliminate the board if we wanted to. So I do feel like we're on solid legal grounds and supporting ourselves.
Then I got a question. I mean, since she keeps going to the state constitution, I'm pretty confident that that's where it says this. If it was never intended and it's no big deal for police jurors to serve on the library board, why does it specifically delineate that the police juror president will serve in an ex officio capacity or can make an appointee to serve on the board? Why does it delineate that? Why did they do that?
I don't know. Maybe it was back in the olden days, and when things were black and white, literally on television and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're saying it's the old days that is the reason they're able to do what they're doing, and that you can't trust the public anymore. There's nobody out there that you can trust.
Right. All those, Facebook keyboard warriors, to paraphrase Doug Rimmer.
You have to trust government. You can't trust the people. You have to trust government. Put all your faith and trust in government.
And you have to
There you
trust
go.
Patrick Jackson. He gets it right every single time. All right. Here we go.
Give them your guns. They're going to take care of you. Juliana Parks is there for you.
Yes.
We had some reasons to do that that I won't get into, but I just assure the citizens that we don't take it lightly and that we do make sure that we are following the law. And that's all I have. Sure. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Parks. Mr. Plummer.
Thank you, Ms. Parks. Right. Enough of that. So, what's our summary of the...
I'm getting sick to my stomach here. I think I'm nauseated.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Let me drink some tea to get rid of the taste. That's bad. Anyway.
Jeff sat out. Exactly, Jeff. Exactly. Jeff says wait a minute. Back up. Not correct, because in order to have a library, you must have a library board. So you can't get rid of the board unless you get rid of the library. Exactly. And see, that's this wily wordsmithing. I mean, look, there's good attorneys out there, but then there's also these attorneys that twist up the words. And that's what she just did right there. And look,
our good friend Barry, sorry to interrupt you, but our good friend Barry Butler, former police jury member, look, apparently he's on their side. He says the dual office holding has an exception that fits this situation.
That's his interpretation of it. I mean, sure. I don't think that's correct, and I think that it's a gray area in the law that is being exploited, and until somebody feels strongly about it and challenges it, I think you're going to have to default to the 100% guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right. Period. And you just got to take it.
Yeah. All here's the weird thing is that, and Juliana pretty much said it at the tech meeting. We've got the video somewhere that, all the people that were on the board, they were just doing things that, were just totally unacceptable and, putting these books that were kids could get access to and blah, 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 and all this. And that's why they had to step.
Who put all those people on there? Who put them on there?
Oh, wait, the police jury.
Oh, so they put people on there who made bad decisions according to them, and they replaced them with themselves so that wouldn't be any more bad decisions made.
Maybe two wrongs do make a right.
Apparently maybe this in Bossier, that's the way it works.
Yeah, maybe this is one of those exceptions. Two wrongs will make a right in Bossier Parish police jury land.
I can see a roundabout coming to Benton with a train right in the middle of it. I can see it.
Roundabouts to enter all the libraries. Okay.
Enough on the stupid police jury. I mean, we've got a whole future to do nothing but have fun jury. With them. Yeah. We've covered Mike Johnson. We've covered the police jury. Oh, hey, we forgot something. Cut 10. Cut 10.
Cut 10. Oh, all right. Hold on a second. So let me switch screens real quick. Cut 10.
What
cut
would
10.
what good would a Bossier Watch show without sharing something about Chris Smith?
You're talking about the port?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, switch. We're going to add a little subject in here real quick, and then we'll get on
So
to the lawsuit.
I forget when this was, but I captured it the other day. But
that looks like
Chris,
that looks like a really boring picture.
He's one of the boys there. He got him a shovel right there with the mayor, and he got the King David right there to the other side, and got Walt Bigby. I mean, you even got that
uptown. There's
port.
Ruttenbuck over there.
Hell yeah, they all got shovels. I mean,
I wonder if they actually got their hands dirty or not. Wait, who else is that? Adam Bass?
He even got a shovel.
Be dang, them boys out there getting their fingernails dirty.
Hell, I didn't think Bossier City had that many shovels. You look at the crap all across Bossier, but yeah, they were shoveling dirt, digging water lines out there. So if anybody says that your politicians in Bossier don't work, you got a picture right there. They digging the water lines, Manchac, and Manchac's billing for it.
They're saving the taxpayer dollars right then and there.
Yeah, so I don't want us to forget that. Look, this water line is going to prevent Bossier from having to ever raise water rates. Remember that?
Right. They said it.
Remember? Yeah. The king even called Ruttenbuck to the mic to say, if we don't do this, we're going to have to raise water rates. But if we do this, we won't ever have to raise water rates.
Yeah. Y'all remember that.
Yep. Y'all just freeze frame this in your mind.
Yeah. All them boys out there with their shovels, doing a photo op while they have a traco right behind them and a boring crew. That's about as silly as it gets. They should have had the boring machine out there, and they could at least been lined up around the boring machine, but that's a whole other deal. Anyway. All right, so is that where that
What about this?
Out there at the research station, that's where this thing's gonna exit, or?
Well, that's at the end of the city, the city limits there.
Okay.
Hope Street, and going from there way on outside the city to the port.
Hey, Lisa Gosden Smith brings up a good point. Are they wearing Bossier shirts or Manchac shirts? That's a good question, Lisa.
That is a good question. Manchac must be slacking. Now, dadgum good and well that the mayor and Queen David and Walt, for that matter, they're wearing Manchac underwear.
Oh, I'm sure they have Manchac pom-poms in the cars. In the Tahoes.
No, they got... And the Queen's probably wearing a thong, Manchac thong. I'm confident.
I could have done without that picture.
I'm just saying. Ain't no way he would degrade himself. Ain't no way he would degrade himself to just plain underwear. He's sporting a thong down there.
That's it, folks. Show is over. I'm clicking the finish button right now.
No doubt about it. He's thonging it. He's that kind of guy.
That's terrible. All right. So let's talk about this Bossier City Council lawsuit. What is up with this? I mean, apparently they're fighting multiple legal fronts. So which lawsuit are we referring to specifically?
Well, look, y'all all recall that they had this wild and crazy idea that they wanted to get this declaratory judgment.
Oh, yeah, that lawsuit.
Apparently, we have... Some people's minds are in the gutter, apparently. I mean, I was just trying to make some fun here, and people are... Well, wait a minute, that's my wife.
Yeah, she said, don't create that visual. All right.
Oh, I can see a meme coming. I got a bad feeling about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the y'all remember this little thing called term limits in Bossier? And the Bossier City Council decided, hey, we're going to ignore our own city charter and throw it to the wind and ignore the law, and we're just going to say to heck with it, thumb our nose at the people, and file a lawsuit to try to get a declaratory judgment to make the registrar of voters throw her certification out because she can't do that.
Decertifies the buzzword.
Decertify.
Yeah.
That's right. She can't do that.
So, do we have a judgment on it yet, or what do we want to go to cut 4?
I got to tell you, I'm not confident we're going to get a judgment. But the reason we're back to talking about all this, guys, is there was some things that took place today. Apparently, the AG's office, who represents the registrar of voters, who was filed against by the city of Bossier, the AG's office weighed in defending the registrar of voters, Stephanie Agee, today.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot to it. I mean, this first, there's a lot to it. So in this first, it's called an exceptions page. There's 14 pages to it. And, somebody's sending me information as we speak.
Uh-oh. Breaking news. Don't tell me David Montgomery sent you a thong pic.
No, I told you the memes were going to start coming, and I already got the first one, and I can't even. I'm sorry, folks. I cannot share this with you. This is a kid-friendly show, and I knew.
I don't want to really throw up, Duke. Do not share it, whatever it is.
I can't. We'll get banned from internet. It would even be worse than saying we had fraudulent elections. Anyway, okay. Page 3.
Where am I? I'm on page 1. Let's see. 2, 3. That page? Yes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I am so off my game here. I've got to get into the show notes and pull the file up. I am all jacked up with that meme that somebody just sent me. I got to tell you,
I wasn't even paying attention to the notes again, but let's see.
That is just so wrong.
3, law and argument section points out the city charter. Okay. Yes. Right here. That's where you wanted to be, according to the notes. Yes, folks, we do have notes. We just don't follow them. And basically, this is just spelling out. We've actually gone over this before on the show, and it's been gone over in some of the city council meetings, of course, with Wes Marriott and the Colonel and other folks and all that. But it's just the AG's office laying out how the charter petition process takes place. Is that a fair, quick summary?
Yeah, that is it basically the AG's office was putting out the point, making the point that look, what we have here is we have a charter petition. The charter petition proposes to amend the Bossier City Home Rule Charter to establish term limits for the council and the mayor. And again, the key words being charter petition and Bossier City Home Rule Charter. It's not a state petition, it's a home rule charter petition. That's what we're talking about here. And it lays out how and what the Bossier City Charter says in regards to that.
And just for those of you that are listening to the podcast version, that's in the Bossier City Charter, section 21.01 and section 5, if you want to go look that up.
So they make a ton of other arguments, and you jump down to and pretty much everything that we have all said, on this show, as well as the Term Limits Coalition have said, and the points that we've made. They make the argument that the case is moot, and that the reason that the case is moot because, one, the timeline for calling the election has already passed, and that the city failed to abide by the charter in following the timeline. They passed the timeline of 90 days to call for the election. And so therefore, why are you filing a suit for a remedy that you can't give? Because you've already basically broke your charter. Then they go on page 8 and they start talking about justifiable controversy. And they point out on number 4 on page 8, they say plaintiff otherwise fails to present a justifiable controversy between Bossier City and the Bossier Parish Registrar of Voters. In the context of a petition for declaratory judgment, a justifiable controversy connotates an existing, actual, and substantial dispute, as distinguished from one that is merely hypothetical or abstract, and a dispute that involves the legal relations of parties with real adverse interests upon which the judgment of the court may effectively operate through a decree of conclusive character. The petitioner must have a legally protectable and tangible interest in the suit, and the dispute presented should be of sufficient immediacy and reality in order to warrant the issuance of a declaratory judgment. What they're getting at here is the city of Bossier doesn't have, they don't have any loss. What is the city of Bossier's loss?
Right. Yeah.
So
basically, the time has already passed for the city to act. Therefore, a ruling on the petition doesn't matter.
Yeah, and they go on and on, I think it's the top of page 9, it says the case lacks a controversy between the Bossier Parish government and the registrar of voters. They did say Bossier Parish government.
Yeah.
There are no specific adversarial questions asserted by interested parties based on existing facts presented by Bossier against the registrar of voters. And they go on to say, that assuming the applicability of LARS 18.3, it is not the registrar of voters' responsibility to determine whether the charter petition is in proper form under LARS 18.3A, which says that you got to have their signature, you got to have a witness, you got to have ward and precinct, year of birth, all of that crap. It doesn't say that. It goes on to say the election code provides for the duties of a registrar of voters with respect to verifying names on a petition. In that regard, LARS 18.3D provides in pertinent part, and basically all it says is they've got to validate the signature. That's their responsibility. And they certify that in fact by the signature, not by ward precinct, all those other different things. It says that their standard is defined in 18.3 that it's by signature. They match it up on and it even talks about microfiche. It's a ton of stuff to read right there. I'm not going to read all that crap.
Right.
But that's what they're saying. So the judge, what's he going to do? He's going to say, "Oh no, the law that says the registrar of voters has to compare signatures and say that deems it certified. They have to ignore that part and go strictly by the part that says that, oh, you got to have a year of birth on there. And if it doesn't have the year of birth on there, then you can't even look at the signature to know or say that it's a no."
And she's got to decertify it.
And decertify it.
Yeah. So Weston brings up a good question. Does Colonel Crockett have cause for relief by asking the court to declare the petition valid and seek a writ of mandamus to force the ballot question?
Well, I want to come back to that just a little bit, and I guess where to come back to that, we'll jump to the very end on this page 12.
Let me go to the last sentence here on page 9 first, because that's kind of important in the context of Jacobs's controversy with this. It says, while LARS 18.3A3 requires a voter to write their year of birth, no provision of law enables a registrar to reject a signature for lack of year of birth. That's AG's position.
Yeah, and page 12, I think it was section D. Let's go to that. Preemptory exception of no right of action. So, to have standing, a party must complain of a constitutional defect in the application of the statute to him or herself, not of a defect in its application to third parties in hypothetical situations. They go on to say the peremptory exception of no right of action raises the question of whether, as a matter of law, a particular plaintiff falls within the general class in whose exclusive favor the law extends. To prevail on a no right of action, the defendant must show the plaintiff does not possess an interest in the subject matter of the suit. So their point is, and I'll keep reading here, because plaintiff has not prevented a justiciable controversy against the registrar of voters, the plaintiff does not have standing to bring the suit. They're saying the city has no standing to bring the suit because they can't exhibit that they've received any damage or not. Plaintiff claims that the city has a legally protectable and tangible interest in determining the validity of the form of the petition and validity of the certification by the registrar. Although they go on to say basically that they don't, plaintiff's allegations fail to reach the minimum threshold necessary to claim a right of action, nor can it make allegations that make it so.
Blah 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 blah.
Blah,
In
blah,
the
blah,
in
blah, blah.
the end,
Yeah.
Jacob's tactics of delaying worked.
But on this end, here's this last thing we've got to read right here.
Okay.
If anyone on page 13, scroll right down to the end there. Let's go back up just a hair right there. If anyone is well, let me go up a little further. The city of Bossier City has no interest in bringing this suit. The charter petition at issue seeks to change the term limits of city council members and the mayor. That is a matter which is personal to the candidates of those respective offices. It has no effect on the city as a whole. Further, Section 501 of the Charter requires an election to be called, as it provides the city, quote, shall call an election, end quote, within 90 days after the registrar of voters certification. The word shall is mandatory in Louisiana law. They're basically pointing out to the judge there that, hey, their own city charter says shall once a certified petition is presented to them, which they had.
And it's already
And
been.
in other documents, they show the minutes of the meetings where it was presented, they acknowledged it, and had a vote and refused. The city charter is clear what happens when you vote against it. You don't have a choice. You send it to the ballot for the people. So this one last sentence, it says, if anyone is afforded a remedy to bring this suit, it is the petitioners whose petition has been rejected by the city council. The city as a whole has shown no viable interest in this suit. They said what we've said all along.
Yeah. You boys should have done it. Now, here's the problem is unfortunately in the city charter, there's no penalty if they don't do it.
So it's just like on the police jury. We're just going to break the law and, well, we'll just break the law. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, what are you going to do, you common folks? You common folks who just hang out on Facebook?
Y'all know
what are
your
you gonna
role.
do? Let's see, what's the guy say? How big a boy are you?
So, back to Weston Marriott. Does Colonel Crockett have cause for relief by asking the court to declare the petition valid and seek a writ of mandamus to force the ballot question? Well, I got to tell you, I think there is actionable stuff here. After reading the pleadings of the AG's office, I don't see how a judge is going to rule in favor of the city on a I just don't see it. Granted, I'm no lawyer.
Let me introduce you to the 26th JDC.
Not at all, am I? But I just don't see how it's possible. I think that they deny the city's request to decertify, and they say that it is a certified petition and it's valid. End of story. The question then becomes, well, if the city believes the form is wrong, who can they go to, or who or how do they go to about fighting it or denying it? I don't know if they can, but then if they say, well, you know what, we're just going to ignore it, then what? Who does what? So
Can
they're
you appeal
basically
a
saying,
Can you appeal a declaratory judgment?
no, I don't think that's the deal.
I don't think so
What
either.
here's what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at, and as to whether or not, let's say, the colonel can take an action, the issue here is whether or not the elected officials of Bossier City followed their oath of office. They swore an oath to the Bossier City Charter and the Constitution of Louisiana and the United States. They failed to follow that. So Jeff Sadow makes, any signer would be able to sue according to that document. But Jeff, the question is, would they have a right to sue the councilman individually, because they individually are making their choices to ignore the charter of Bossier City? The charter's clear. They have collectively, individually made a decision that we're just going to ignore the law. It's not their decision to make as to whether we like it or don't like it.
Val Baker calling on the mayor to fire him. Well, we'll see. I don't think Tommy's got the stomach for that. I'll be nice tonight.
Well,
maybe he does.
I think
we're behind you, Tommy. If you do it,
I think they're going to get their hat handed to them here, and my guess is the judge is going to say he's going to deny their request for a declaratory judgment, and that's going to be that. Then there's probably going to be another suit.
Probably so. Not to mention the other suit that they're already involved in.
Yeah, Weston. Weston. The colonel can answer, and but whether or not the judge will take action on it, I think the judge is going to try to dodge this bullet, and he's just going to rule against them and not make a ruling, say the certification stands. Then the ball will be in the court of everybody outside of that.
Could be interesting. All right, so we will post that on Bossier Watch after the show here in just a little bit. So that's the update on the Bossier City Council lawsuit. What else do we have to talk about tonight?
I don't know. I think maybe we should look. Does anybody out there, do y'all have any updates? Is Mike Johnson the speaker yet? Is he walking on the Potomac water yet?
Crossing the Potomac River for like Washington himself. Anyway, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. So you gave him about a 70 to 80% chance earlier. What do you think's going to happen, Duke? Give me your prediction.
Byron Donalds is too conservative. 100%. He's like Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan was a lifetime 100%. Byron Donalds is 100%. Ain't no way K Street's going to go for him. Just don't see it. He's radioactive, and because Mike Johnson is not conservative enough, and I know that pains a lot of people watching this. Y'all have a different perspective of him, but the reality is how he votes. I think that is palatable to them, and I hate to say it. I think they're going to come back to him. Good for North Louisiana. I think he's going to get a shot.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure that Gaddy's heartburn will be at a maximum level.
I still think Jim Jordan should be it.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's that's pretty much it for tonight. I mean, kind of a short show for us. We've only been on an hour
Okay.
and 40 minutes.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Stop the
Wait a
press.
minute. Okay. The behind closed door ballots. Y'all want to hear it?
Well, spit it out, Willie.
Which? Okay.
Al Baker's already.
Walk on Water got 86. Byron Donalds got 32. Mark Green got 23. Roger Williams got 21. Chuck Fleischman, I don't know who that is, got 10. Other people were nominated, got 31, and 2 people voted president. So basically what that means is they'll be going to the floor in the morning to vote on whether or not to make Mike Johnson the next Speaker of the House.
4th in line for the presidency. Right? Am I correct in that?
Third.
No,
Speaker of the House is third.
Oh, yes, third. You're right. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Third. He's almost on third base.
He won't be walking on water anymore. He won't have to.
He won't. All right.
I mean, I'm blown away, man. Wow.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Lowry? By next Tuesday night, you'll be referring to him as Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Golly, man. I can't stomach that much crow. How high is it actually off the Jimmy Davis Bridge? Just in case my bungee rope breaks.
the river's a little low right now, so that makes it a couple of feet, more. So
I did have somebody inform me. It says, "Look, you don't have to. It won't be black vans. It's Suburbans these days.
Yeah,
black
these
Suburbans.
Days. Yeah.
Don't look for vans. Look for Suburbans. You start seeing black Suburbans, and you know something's up."
All right. Oh, let's see. Cliff Smith says, "Yes, thank you for reminding us of that, Cliff. Remember the new petition." So, as we close out the show, I want to say one thing. So, I've said it before, but we have had a few dozen people sign up to offer help. We have got your emails. We've got all your contact information. We are trying to get everything organized and orchestrated and all that. So just, know that we've got your information and we'll be reaching out soon enough and making some more progress with the new petition. We're already making some progress, but go ahead, dude.
Yeah. So, and if you're a business in Bossier City, and we know a lot of folks that watch our show and support the petition effort. We are looking for volunteers at businesses or businesses that want to sponsor petition signing events. Acadiana Mortgage, it's understood. I'm one of the volunteers on the Term Limit Coalition. We collect signatures there. People can stop by at any time, sign the petition. Ryan Haygood's dental office, he's got a sign up form there. Cliff Smith has a location that we're working out the details on that we'll be able to announce shortly. I don't want to put the cart before the horse because I haven't gotten an update on that. But if y'all have a business location where you have foot traffic and you want to try to help us get signatures and help promote this thing, I will tell you, we are well ahead by a lot of hundreds of signatures already ahead on 3 petitions of what we were this time when we did the first petition. We're way ahead already.
Yeah. Well, good. That's a good report. Always positive. And look, there's not a definitive timeline. It's not like we've got to have the new petition ready within 7 days or anything like that. It's definitely, I feel, going to take way less time than the first one, obviously. So, again, we're kind of working the kinks out of organizational things, and we will be reaching out to everybody.
And the old tried and true thing is knocking on some doors. And look, it doesn't take any of y'all that want to help us out. It don't take many doors for you to knock. I mean, just get a few signatures for us, just your family, just people. Go to bossiertermlimits.com, sign up there, or come by Acadiana Mortgage, and we'll hook you up on some forms. Just go out and get us 10 signatures. That's it. That's easy.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. All right, Mr. Lowry. That's it for tonight. Man, this is a record. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. I feel like we should just ramble on for another 30 minutes or an hour. But anyway, it's been fun.
Oh, look, they'll have a council meeting Tuesday night. It'll be off the chain next week.
We'll have some more fireworks. All right. Want to thank everybody for watching. We appreciate all of you. We were running north of 100 folks most of the evening. Quick reminder, of course, if you have something you want to share, go to protonmail.com, make an anonymous account, send an email to bossierwatch@protonmail.com. Don't put any identifying information on it. I will get those blasted hats up there so y'all can get a few hats. We've had a few of those made. We'll post a deal. We'll post the AG's exceptions memo here in a little bit. Do all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, that's it. I'm through rambling.
That's all I got. Have a good night. See y'all next time.
See ya.